Hi all, it's Catherine Burgess with Burgess Group Compass. We're talking about last week's Boulder County real estate numbers. Nationally, how demand looks like it is going, and then how that relates to our local market. So last week we had 43 new listings come to market, and that was a little bit lower than what we saw in the last 3 years. Same deal with under contracts. We had 48 under contracts, a little bit less than the last 3 years, 0.5 months supply of inventory. So again, that was just a hair lower than what we saw in the last 3 years. So, and quite a bit lower than what we saw in 2018. So under contracts, year to date under contracts, we're at 4685. And in contrast, in 2018 at this time, we were at 4102. So it's really a significantly different marketplace. There's a lot more velocity happening. So relatively speaking, most of this year we've seen that our numbers have not been tremendously off from the historic normals. So we are a little bit low this week. We were in alignment over the Thanksgiving week. And so let's just see what happens next. We may have a quiet time after this huge velocity in the market. Maybe the market's going to take a breather, but we'll just have to wait and see. From a price band perspective, we had a lot of activity in the higher end of the market, and it's been very consistent, incredibly high sell-through rates in the luxury market for the last 3-4 weeks. We've also seen a lot of activity in the lower price bands, though it hasn't been at the same sell-through rate as what we are seeing in the top. So be sure to check our blog to look at those sell-through rates. Do keep in mind that when we're talking about sell-through rates, that is the volume of activity that happens in the lower price bands is far greater than what happens in the very high end of our luxury market. So although those sell-through numbers may be way higher than what we're seeing in the lower end of the market, the volume of transactions is still much greater at the lower end. Then nationally, we have we saw in 2021 that we hit a peak with those competitive offer numbers, and they have been declining since then. Most recent info is from October of 2021, and we saw a plateau then in the number of competitive offers. So will we continue to see buyer demand decline, or will we have something ramping up again? That's the new question in front of us. And we need to keep looking for both leading and coincident indicators that will help us understand what demand will look like in 2022. So we'll get back to you on that. Then from the how does that relate to our local market question, please check out our chart that shows how competitive things are in various cities around the United States. You'll see that Denver Metro is at around 61.5% competitive offer scenario rate. And so that leads us to understanding that simply having only one offer is considerable success. We need to expect that most of the time we're going to be in a competitive offer scenario. You can do some things like shop now as opposed to in the new year, and you may have fewer buyers to compete with. So there are strategies that will help you get under contract more easily, even in a tough buyer's market. So sellers, keep in mind that we have this incredibly low inventory. You want to be ready at any point in 2022 to hit the market when you want. It can pick up in a very high demand appreciating market in early January. So that may happen. We'll be happy to help you time when you want to get there at just the right moment. So call us with questions. We're, as always, a resource. And buyers, getting into the right before Christmas time can be an even more attractive time to not have a competitive offer scenario. Call us. We're happy to be a resource. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.